Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to explain how I like to estimate interior paint jobs. Now there's a lot of different systems and methods out there that you can use, and in my opinion, you want to consider three main factors when picking which one's going to be best for you. The three main factors are accuracy, and what I mean by accuracy is the ability to predict how much time it's going to take and how much money you have to spend at the paint store to get that job done. The next thing is it's got to be fast. You don't want to be spending hours calculating a bunch of numbers and working up different options for a possible client. The last thing is it needs to be simple. What I mean by simple is you got to be able to show someone else how to do it in a short amount of time. You might be a super experienced painter and you can just eyeball something, which is pretty fast, and you're probably even really accurate with determining how much time and how much materials it's going to take, but it took you a long time to learn how to do that, and it's not simple to just explain to somebody how you're doing that. So I've tried a lot of different estimating systems, and I was never really able to find one that did all three of those things really well. Usually like one or two, but it was always kind of lacking in some area. And just out of running my painting company and having problems was why I was always just kept trying something new and trying to figure out a way to accomplish those things until ultimately I just made it myself. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. It's just this, a Google spreadsheet. But you know what I love about Google spreadsheets? They're free. And they work on every device. You just download the free app and you're good to go. You can also access this stuff anywhere. You could be at the grocery store and look something up. What if you get to a house and you don't have cell phone or tablet service? No worries. If you just save a couple on your tablet and then click this little make offline button, now when you get to one of those houses, just use one of those spreadsheets and you're good to go. Now you might be thinking, it's just a spreadsheet. How accurate can it be? I've tried a lot of different estimating methods, programs, softwares, and I don't know of anything that is more accurate than this. And I track every hour and every dollar on every single job. And if something is off by more than 5%, we look at the reason why, and sometimes we'll adjust this spreadsheet based on that. It's also simple enough that it only takes a few minutes to show a painter who's never estimated before how to use this. Let me give you a real world example of what that might look like. So for this example, let's just say it's a subcontractor and they've done some jobs for you. They give you a call and say, hey, I don't know, I just feel like this job's under bid. There's a lot more work here than the previous jobs, and I was really hoping you could pay me some more money on this one. And you can just say no, and maybe they feel like you don't care about them, you don't respect them and their hard work. But in this case, I could sincerely say, oh man, I'm really sorry. If we underbid it, it's no problem at all. I promise you we'll make it right. Let's double check it. And then I would tell them, go ahead and open up the job folder that we sent you. You can go to the prices page and you'll see the list of all the areas we measured and what they were. So in this case, it's real simple. It's just, number one is a bedroom. But if it was a more complicated one, you can see number 4 is the kitchen, number 6 is the master bedroom, and they can go to the appropriate page. But for this simple case, you can go ahead and go to number 1, and those are the measurements we took. Can you let me know if something's off there? Sometimes the estimator will mess up and get dyslexic and put like 25 instead of 52 or something like that. Does all that look right? Did we miss anything? And the painter can probably realize like, oh, this is just each wall. But even then, if he just looks over here, he can see, okay, they got that much surface area, that much ceiling. We've got 41 foot of baseboards, 1 door, 2 door frames, windows. This miscellaneous other feet you might have to explain that's for the accent wall, because you have 9 foot on each side to do a tape line to change the colors there. And naturally the conversation would go to, well, it looks like you bid it all right, but you just understand like this one takes more time and more materials because of things that's like hard to explain. And then I say, oh, okay, great. I like when this happens because I am able to refine and adjust my estimating process, and I want to make sure this doesn't happen again. If you go to the painter sheet, you'll see in there how much time we gave you to do all the different tasks that you're doing, as well as the materials. And then you can say, we gave you a little bit over 5 hours to just do the walls, and that's broken into about an hour and a half to tape caulk the walls to the baseboards, another hour-ish to hand cut the line from the walls, and then 2.64 hours to roll the walls. There's also some setup cleanup time in there, and then you can just see the different amount of times that he was given for each task. This miscellaneous would be the extra time to create that accent wall. This is more specific, and this is more of like a bird's eye view of the different tasks. And you can see for a complicated house, like this was an enormous home, even in the painter sheet, it breaks down everything. And this also helps budget if you have like 6 guys on a job. You can break it up by like rooms or something. It's like, hey, you're going to do room 6, should take 33 hours. That's 4 days. You should be done with this with 8-hour days. And this is when a bunch of different things can happen. The painter may realize like, this is actually really easy to hit. I can do it quicker than that. He may say something goes off like, well, it's going to take more than 5 hours to do this. And usually that's when like ego starts to come into play, because you can say, well, okay, we have a lot of painters that really aren't even that skilled that are able to do it in that amount of time. What's different about this job? Like, why is it taking longer? So he might be wondering, well, where is this 5 hours coming from? I can see it's these things, but how did you come up with that number? And this is really the beauty of this spreadsheet, is it's all coming from this input page. So you can see the tape caulk walls to baseboards is coming from this tape line with caulking standard, saying that we can do 30 linear foot per hour. I do realize if you're looking at these, you might think they're easy or hard. This is based off of a painter that I'm paying as an employee, so I have payroll taxes and workers' comp included, and I'm going to pay them $25 an hour. To me, they're worth paying $25 an hour if they can paint at these standards. If they paint slower than these standards, I pay them less. If they paint faster than these standards, I pay them more. This burden is just payroll and workers' comp. If they're a subcontractor, you can put 1. And that's really why this spreadsheet is so powerful, is you can customize it to your business. You might use different paints, get different prices. Let's say that you do something my company doesn't, like popcorn ceiling removal, is you can easily just come into the ceiling type and enter that in. It's just how much square foot can you do per hour? Let's say it's 10. And now this will work within the spreadsheet. And maybe this isn't the best place to put it because you still are going to have to paint it afterwards, maybe prime and paint new texture drywall. So you could actually put this standard under miscellaneous square foot per hour. And now if we go to a page, you can see just by putting it in there, it's now a part of the drop down menu. I can pick that one. But since we're going to paint it after we remove it, you'd want to put it in the miscellaneous square foot. You can put here. You can see 1 square isn't a lot of room, but if you click these arrows here, it's going to open up a lot more space underneath, to where if you run out of room here, you can actually come down here and just continue on. And for the square foot of miscellaneous, we'll come down here. But it's all going to work in the spreadsheet. So now I can get a price for these things. It's actually telling me to select a primer because I said I want to prime and paint new drywall. So I'd come down to primer and put like drywall primer. And in this miscellaneous, when I turn that on, it'll say popcorn ceiling removal. So now I have a price for that. Just that quickly, you can customize it for your business. In this video, I'm not trying to explain how this works, just give you a bird's eye view. You can watch my other video that goes into depth. Google Sheets is free. You could build this yourself. If you need the standards, I either sell them for $5 or I'll give them to you for free if you like, comment, and subscribe to this video, and then just shoot me an email letting me know you did so that I know to send you the standards. I also realize everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. Like, I can barely spell to save my life, but math has always come supernatural to me. So if you'd rather buy mine instead of trying to build it yourself, I sell it on my website, links in the description. And again, the great thing about this is once you have it, there's no monthly fees, and I'm not storing all your data like some of the other programs I've used. The last and perhaps biggest point I want to mention is how powerful this is with that last feature with being super fast. So let me just give you a real world example of what it's like doing an estimate with this. You're in a home talking with the client, going over everything that's to be painted. We only use laser measurers because they're super fast, accurate, and you can get a bunch of measurements at once. Take a couple measurements of that room, then put in the numbers that I see on my laser measure, tell it what paint I wanted to use, and that's it. I'm done. I now have numbers and prices I can show the homeowner. And I can just click them on and off to show them any kind of option they'd want to see without doing tons of math. And it helps too if they have like a budget. It's like, well, let me show you if you do this room with this room and kind of make this off. That's the only way I can get into that budget. It's just super helpful, and it gives you so much more time to talk about other stuff with the estimate. If you're able to show the homeowner a price right then and there and ask for their business, I guarantee it you'll get more business than if you're going home, doing some math, and then emailing them later. I know from real world experience, trust me on that, it's a game changer.